Hello, I'm Angela from Angela Marciano Physical Therapy, and today I'm going to go over a little alignment tutorial that I do in my workshops and in my exercise classes. This is great for anybody, but it's especially good for new moms. Your posture changes a lot during pregnancy, and it doesn't always just bounce back. Sometimes you need a little help getting back there, and this includes women who've had babies. Sometimes it's been 5, 10, even 15 years. You have lingering back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain. This can really help. So you're going to start in standing. You're going to line your heels up with your sitting bones or the middle of your butt cheek. So if you've been to yoga, you know what your sitting bones are. But otherwise, it's the center of each cheek. There should be a line that drops straight down from there to your heels. And then you're going to shift your weight forward towards the ball of the foot without lifting the heels, and back towards the heel without lifting the toes. So you shift your weight forward towards the ball of the foot and back. And there's a range of where you could be, and your body has to do different things to adjust on either extreme. Where you'd like to be, and this is just in static standing posture, and so it's a starting point, it's not the end of the story. You'd like the weight equal, 50-50 on the heel and ball of the foot, and equal on the right and the left leg. Then you're going to place your hands on the outside of your hips, your true hips, so not your pelvis. You're coming down a couple inches to your hips, and you're going to rotate your thigh bones in and rotate your thigh bones out. So that comes all the way from up here at the hip joint. It's the long bone rotating in and out at the hip socket. And as you rotate your thigh bones in, the knees point towards each other a little bit. And as you rotate the thigh bones out, the knees point just a little bit out to the side. It's not a big movement. Rotate in and rotate out. The other thing that happens is you rotate your thigh bones in, the knees point towards each other, and the arches drop a little bit. As you rotate out, you lift up onto the outside edge of your feet. So what's happening at your hip joint affects all the way down the knees, the ankles, and the feet. In addition to that, some of those hip muscles are directly connected to the pelvic floor. So everything's connected from the bottom up to the top and from the top down to the bottom. So where you would like to be is if you had laser beams on your kneecaps, you want them pointing straight ahead. For some of you, your feet will also be straight ahead. But for others, so my feet are straight ahead when my kneecaps are straight ahead. For others, we have a little bit of a twist in the lower leg, so the feet might not be pointing straight ahead. That's okay. Let them be wherever they need to be for right now. That might change with time. Then you're going to place one hand on the front of your pelvis and one hand on the back. So your pubic bone is where your bikini line starts. And your tailbone is behind. It's that base of your spine. It kind of curves down and under. And you're going to lift your pubic bone and drop your pubic bone. You could also think of this if you were a cat or a dog. You're going to tuck your tail underneath you, and then you're going to lift your tail. Right? Tucking your tail underneath you and lifting. Another way to think about this, if you had a handle right here on your bikini line, if you pull up in front and then drop down. So you might have done this lying down on your back, a pelvic tilt, and it's a heck of a lot easier with your knees bent. Here, if you have any tightness in the hip flexors or the low back, you're running into a little bit of a tug of war with yourself. So just see what you can find for easy movement without doing lots of other stuff. And when your pelvis is tipped forward and your tail is lifted, if you imagine your pelvis was like a bowl of soup, you'd be pouring your soup out in front of you. If you lift the front of your pubic bone, tuck your tailbone, now it's like I'm pouring my soup out behind me. Where I'd like to be is not spilling my soup anywhere. So you're trying to find a position between where you tend to hang out. So if you're normally tipped way forward, you might not be able to get to where you're not spilling any soup, but maybe spill a little bit less. And that's a neutral position. It's sort of the best position. We want to get you started working in there, but sometimes it's hard to get there because other things might be tight or weak. You're going to bring your hands up now to your rib cage, and you're going to just slide your ribs to one side and then the other. It's not a really big motion. You're leaving the hips in the center and you're sliding. So I probably have a lot more movement than some of you. Right, so don't worry if it's really small. You're trying not to side bend so the shoulders stay level. They slide to one side and then the other. So there's an opening on the bottom of the rib cage, an opening on the top of the pelvis. You're trying to stack them up. Then with your hands still in your rib cage, right around your bra strap, if you imagine your rib cage like a bell, you're going to lift the front, which drops the back. And then you're going to drop the front, which lifts the back, right? So it's like ringing a bell. When the front lifts, the back drops. When you drop the front, the back lifts. Where we would like to be, rib cage stacked over pelvis again. For many people, especially new moms or people who do a lot of desk work, that's going to make you feel kind of hunched forward. And the cheat is you'll pick up that rib cage in the front to stand up tall. What we really want to do is leave that rib cage stacked over the pelvis. You've got to find the lift from the bra strap and above, but you won't be able to get all the way up there today because you've got to work on releasing what's tight and strengthening what's weak. So you're finding a middle ground between where you are and where you'd like to be, which is optimal. And then you're going to shrug your shoulders up, bring them back, and slide them down. The last part is your head. Imagine the back of the neck is long, so you're not tipping your chin up. It's almost like you're pulling your throat back. So you want your head stacked neatly over the rest of your spine. And that's a really good starting point. If you want some more information, check out my face page, Angela Marciano Physical Therapy. I think I said face page, I meant Facebook page. And I've got some workshops coming up in June and running those about every 8 weeks. So that's a little way to get a little more detailed information and kind of go through it with a little bit of guidance. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you.